Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Sonic 2006. We're in a new hub for silver, and you all know what that means. It means new stuff to shop for, but also town missions. So I hope you look forward to those as much as I do, which is sometimes, if they're good. Anyway, new city. We have the remote shop here, and this is, I think, the first time that it's actually acknowledged, because it's mandatory for Silver to buy stuff here. So yeah, it was also mandatory for Sonic to buy stuff here, come to think of it, but yeah, whatever. We are gonna get the shock bracelet here, which will give us a Psycho Shock, which name I will forget, because man, these names are generic, except of course for the single layered extreme. And it does this. If you hold down the attack button in the air, then you will do a gigantic explosion around you. Why do I say gigantic? Because it doesn't look that big. Well, let's see here. Granny is probably willing to help us out. Yeah, this is how big the radius actually is. It goes all the way to her from here, and that is quite substantial, and it stuns everything that's trapped in the radius. And I would like to remind you that every enemy that is stunned you can pick up. You see where this is going. This is by far the most powerful tool in Silver's arsenal, because at this point we don't really actually have to pick up anything anymore and throw it at enemies. So his basic attack is more or less obsolete at this point, because we can just stun enemies and instantly kill them. We're not going to see this in the next town mission, because it is a little bit special and actually kind of interesting. I quite like it in its simplicity. It's also very short, which helps it a lot. But we're going to see it in the second offering. So before we do that, let's protect the barrels in the warehouse district. Descriptive. The red barrel is the most dangerous. It is also the only barrel we have to protect, but it is barrels, so anyway, we're just gonna have to assume that everything explodes if we don't pick up these missiles. The gist of this mission is that you basically want to pick up everything that the enemies send out in the first volley and then kill them real quickly before too many missiles come and overwhelm you, because after all, you can't really easily re-grab stuff. So watch out for that. Here, all 4 of them I pick up. Then targeting, of course, a bit of an issue. I make sure that I properly re-grab and use 1 missile for every enemy, and that's that. That's the entire mission. It is extremely short, but it does take some getting used to Silver's abilities. Again, the town mission serving as a nice tutorial for his ability. Can't really fault them for that. And you have to be relatively quick, as we can see here. Can't dawdle too much and can't pick up too many missiles, but it's fine. Once you realize what you have to do, the S rank is basically mandatory, because otherwise you will get quickly overwhelmed by missiles. Anyway, you could theoretically go there after picking up the first missiles just as a safety thing and fight the enemy's melee, but why would you? Anyway, there is something a little special that has appeared back here, and it only appears once we do this specific mission, and Hatsune the pigeon will disappear later once we do the next mission or leave this part of town at the very least. So that's nice, isn't it? I have no idea why this happens, why this pigeon is here, and I don't think anybody does. As far as I know, there are some cut lines the pigeon can say, which basically amount to why are you talking to me? I'm a pigeon. Which is hilarious, of course, and they really should have left that in. But, as far as things go, this is just an Easter egg. And I remember to show it off. Isn't that nice? Anyway, we do have a second town mission to do, which sadly means a little bit of walking. And again, this is the biggest issue that Silver has in this, because, well, he's not very fast, isn't he? There is going to be a little bit of an upgrade after the next mission to mitigate that slightly, but for now we can only really just walk. Yeah. Raid Evil Monster, wonderful name, I really love it. Surely perfectly translated, and what we basically have to do here is relatively typical for town missions, of course, but not as typical for Silver, because so far we only had an arena, and now we have to keep going in certain directions and kill a bunch of enemies, one after another. And this is probably going to tell you immediately how incredibly busted the shock bracelet is. We can, of course, still shock stuff in melee, but shocking everything around us just immediately all at once, killing all of these flying enemies without having to resort to Silver's awful targeting. Look at this. Yeah, one of the boxes took out all of the other boxes and we're left boxless. Terrible. We really want to have the shock bracelet so that we don't run into enemies and don't use their bodies to throw away all of our rings. Wow, that was awful. But also that they are harmless in general. It's all just a good time. We can pick up some of the barriers here so that we can get some extra points. We should look out for all of the randomly spawning ring boxes, but mostly what this mission is just a very good showcase for the shock bracelet. You can also try and kill the worms with their own projectiles. I don't quite know if I got the reticle because of that, because after all, if you have noticed, every time I killed a worm, all of the birds around it disappeared. So really I should have been getting reticle bonuses all the time, and I think the NPC just blocked my shots. Brilliant. Again, another reason for why you really should not use the boxes here. It's just bad. Use Silver's other abilities, even though sometimes it looks really cool what you can do. But the shock bracelet is just default mode from now on. Really should be. Anyway, one other thing here, as you might note, I could stun the giant because his eye was still open after I hit it in its open eye. And this means that I can stun it with the shock bracelet from a safe distance and then just keep hitting him. Wonderful. And again, it's just brilliant how little you can actually do when throwing things. You can do stuff like throw the projectors of the worms back, but even that does not always work, and I don't quite know why. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. But fortunately, if you are efficient and take everything out as soon as you can, then you will have enough points and time bonus combined, and with all of the ring boxes that spawned, you can get the S rank. But this is one of those town missions where everything is calculated quite nicely, and you really want to get a bonus from all of them. Like this video if you like Hatsune the pigeon. I have a little bit extra content here because the town missions were only 2, and we do have just a tiny bit extra to do before we unlock the next level. So rather than make a 1-minute video for that, it's all in here. So what we have to do, and why we actually had to get the Psycho Shock, is this. It looks like we have a problem. We don't know the problem yet because I'm basically sequence breaking, but you know, all I'm not showing is a lot of running around with Silver's slow ass. So what we want to do is basically just use Psycho Shock here. This is how the game forces us to have it, in a sense. Though of course, this being Sonic 06, you're not actually forced to do it. I do like that the camera shows you what happens here. So if I just touch them, nothing happens, and if I do the Psycho Shock, yeah. But this also shows us that the radius is actually a little bit bigger than the bubble, so that's also nice. Why did I bring this? Well, this is the way to not have to buy the Psycho Shock. Why would you not want to buy the Psycho Shock? Because it is, after all, extremely useful. Well, there is a reason, and the reason is what speedrunners can do if they don't have the Psycho Shock. I can't do it yet. I might be able to show it off at some point. Let's see. This is how you can skip the lasers. Not quite like this. You have to wedge yourself in a corner, clip through the ceiling, and go out of bounds so that you can go around the lasers. I didn't really practice that because it is kind of pointless for me. After all, I do want to have the Psycho Shock. It is extremely useful. Just a little bit of trivia. Thank you very much for your attention.